What's good, fight fans? Your Majesty speaking. So, I was in the gym today and I came across Chris Mannix interviewing Mauricio Sulaiman. Initially, I had started watching maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes and I realized, you know what, this is something that I should do a live reaction to. So, I cut the video off and now let's get to it. I did want to preference the fact that I made a Shakur Stevenson video about him being stripped. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also, hit the like button, share the video, and hit the notification icon so that you will be notified when I drop future videos. Now, I want to preference the fact that I was initially against, not really against, I just understood the WBC from the standpoint of Terrence Crawford not paying the sanctioning fees for the very reason that he actually fought for the WBC belt when he was fighting Canelo for undisputed. Now, my stance against Shakur is the fight against Teofimo was not for the WBC belt. It was for the WBC or the WBO belt, which means to me, it does not make sense why the WBC should have a right to any of his money from a fight that they didn't sanction. So I'm not sure if they are going to get into that or not on this video as to why they were expecting some type of payment for him for a bout that they didn't sanction. But let's get into the video. Let's see what's being said. And I'm going to chime in, here and there to kind of give my input on what I heard. But the first 2 or 3 minutes that I heard, he was already pissing me off. So I'm pretty sure it's going to continue that way. But let's get into it.
All right, we are here with Mauricio Sulaiman, the president of the WBC. And Mauricio, I just told you off camera, so I'll tell you the same thing on camera. I want to thank you for being here. You have been in the news over the last week, and you know how I feel about some of the actions taken by sanctioning bodies in recent years. So I appreciate you being here to answer some of these questions.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you for the opportunity for me, on behalf of the WBC, to provide our side of any topic that we will be discussing.
Okay, so let's jump right in with the most recent news. Shakur Stevenson is no longer.
Let me say this. The first things first, I hate how he say WBC. Like that shit irks me. I mean, granted, I know, people can't say certain things, but this is a pet peeve of mine. I hate how he say that. WBC, that shit is trash.
The WBC's 135-pound champion. Why is Shakur Stevenson no longer the champion?
Thank you. Let me give you the full story. We received a call from his management in which they requested the WBC to have Shakur Stevenson fight on a different weight category while maintaining the lightweight championship, and being this a WBC event, which even they asked for a special belt for the fight. We explained clearly that
a special belt, like, what sense would it make for Shakur and his team to request a special belt that has no real meaning to it? Now, granted, to me, I always see the WBC create these belts, the Mayan belt, the money belt, the emerald belt, which to me seems like they do it to attach themselves to a bout that is generating a large sum of money. To me, it wouldn't make sense for Shakur to ask for a special belt, to have to pay sanctioning fees for a bout in a fight that he's not fighting for the WBC belt. But I digress. I don't know. Maybe he did. It just doesn't make sense to me.
That is within the WBC rules, and that I would be very happy to convey that to the board and make it happen, because Shakur has been associated with WBC since 2019. I told his management they needed to send a written request in order to start all the process. From that point on, we had another couple of conversations. They were supposed to send a written request, which didn't happen. However, I went to the convention early December. I expressed the position, the petition, the verbal petition, and it was voted in favor. However, we needed to have everything in writing, as every promoter does, and every situation has to be taken care for.
Okay. So to me, if you took it verbally and they granted it, and up until the fight, he still hadn't sent the verbal thing, or sorry, the written proposal, why not strip him before the fight? It almost comes off as, well, we verbally agreed to it, so let's let him fight, and then afterwards we can get a cut of his money. It seems to me like y'all didn't want to strip him before because y'all were looking for a payment, which I don't know. I'm tired of sanctioning bodies. I'm tired of promoters. I'm tired of all of these people that get in the way of fights happening, and fights that we never get that we should get for these reasons. So
December, stopped absolute communications. On January, I started again the communication requesting the petition, the sanctioning petition. And then I even involved the promoter, Matchroom. And I copied also Sela, who is closely associated with the promotions. And no response whatsoever. There were some emails that they responded. Our legal team continued the communications, and they never
Hold on. Maybe I heard this wrong. Maybe I'm tripping. He said no response, and then he said there was some emails that they responded to. Let's go back, because maybe I heard it wrong, but y'all can let me know.
Closely associated with the promotions, and no response whatsoever.
No response whatsoever.
There were some emails that they responded.
There were some emails that they responded. So, Mauricio, you throwing me off, brother.
Our legal team continued the communications.
Maybe it's a language barrier. Maybe he's saying something and I'm hearing it the American way, but he not meaning action. I don't know. Let's continue. Maybe that could be it. But to me, if you say no response whatsoever, and then you turn around your next sentence and say there were some emails they responded to, then it's kind of weird.
And they never responded whatsoever to any petition of putting it in writing and receiving the final authorization.
Okay, so let me just ask this. Let me interrupt quickly. Why does Shakur Stevenson need the WBC's permission to fight in a different weight class for a different sanctioning body's title?
Great question, Chris.
Because he requested that permission. If you want to keep
requesting permission, what he's saying, what Chris is asking is, why does he need to? If he's not fighting, and I mean, maybe I can understand that as the champion, you request permission to go to another division to fight without but to me, that still doesn't make sense, because Shakur Stevenson defended his mandatory against William Zepeda, which means he should have had a year from the time that he fought Zepeda, which I believe was in either October or November of last year. So he should have until October or November of this year to fight a mandatory. He should be able to fight voluntary defenses. Maybe it's because of the weight jump. I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to look further into. But to me, it really don't make sense to have to ask y'all to fight when he's not asking y'all to sanction the bout. So
your title, there are specific rules, and these rules have been in place for decades. When you are a champion in the WBC or any other organization, you have benefits from being a champion. When you are to engage in a non-title bout or in a title bout on another weight category, up or down, you need to receive the permission from the organization to do so.
Whoa. What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
That is.
We need to just build.
And that's what it's.
Sorry about the commercial, guys. I don't pay for premium YouTube yet. But to me, that sound like some we your masters and you can't do what you want to do unless we tell you to. To me, if that's a rule that all sanctioning bodies have, that's something that needs to be revamped, because I think it's a stupid rule. You know what I'm saying? I think it's dumb. Like, I got a petition to fight for another sanctioning body's belt, even if I'm telling you I'm coming back down to 135 to defend my title. It almost seemed like y'all just want to make sure y'all get a payment regardless of whether y'all sanction about or not. But
and we have been consistent. It has happened so many times with many fighters. There's precedent. In fact, Benavides is fighting in May as WBC light heavyweight champion, and he's fighting in cruiserweight for another organization. He made the petition in written,
but
and it's the exact same case that is the way it's done by the WBC rules.
So you stripped Shakur not because he holds.
We did not strip Shakur.
Well, you vacated the title. It's kind of the same thing.
The management elected not to comply, and they eventually vacated the title because they did not comply. And we have so many written proof of everything.
What?
Okay.
If they did not comply before the fight, why didn't you strip him before the fight? He trying to wordplay. He trying to vacate and strip. It's all the same shit. You're taking the belt away from a man for him not paying sanctioning fees for a bout that was not sanctioned by the WBC. Regardless of whether you call it vacating, stripping, dumping, taking, it's all the same. But I peep what he on. And this is, you know what?
Published after the convention on December the 3rd, the status of each weight category. I published personally on January 26th the status of each weight category, and it clearly says the WBC allowed this situation. However, we have not received any response from Shakur Stevenson, and the board is going to address this matter. And all this is published publicly, Chris. And I'll be very happy. I don't know if you received the WBC notifications.
I need to receive the WBC
notifications email so you can receive it directly.
Yeah, I need to send my email. Matter of fact,
we have never said no to an interview. We have never said no to any question. Everything is public. It is very troubling.
What the fuck? Excuse my language, bro. What does not saying no to an interview have to do with the fact that y'all vacated, stripped, took the belt from him for not paying for a fight that you guys did not do anything for? One thing I hate is when I am having a conversation, a debate, anything, and we have a topic that is being discussed, stick to the topic. Because one thing I can do is snuff out fluff when you start trying to jump all around and use all of these tactics to not answer the question. All he's asking is, why do you guys have a rule where you guys are charging the man for a bout that you did not answer? He beating around the bush.
Sensitive the way this situation has been handled
Do you think
having the rules.
Shakur Stevenson told me that you asked for $120,000 in order for you to sanction that fight? Is that accurate?
That is accurate. In writing, we send a letter insisting on them to. We tried everything.
See what I'm saying?
This situation. What we send is,
you asked him for 120K. Is that right? Yes. Nobody give a fuck about a letter that was sent. Nobody care about none of that shit. Because what I believe Chris is trying to get to is, why are y'all asking him for money for a bout that you guys did not sanction?
the WBC approves your petition to fight, and according to the WBC rules, a fee of 120,000, which is less than the 3% that should be, which they, by the way, they can contest and say, no, we're not making this amount, we are making this. And we have done it many times. We have adjusted the sanction fees when the promoter or the manager or the fighter proves.
I probably shouldn't say this,
Bro,
but I used to charge people
all I'm
over
saying
$1,000
is,
to
when
fix
it's
this
all
exact
said
kind
and
of
done,
scratch. Now watch this. You can fix it easily at home yourself. All you
the
have to do
stuff that
that
Mauricio is saying and bringing up is irrelevant. Because the real question is, I'm just I get frustrated with stupid shit. Like, don't pay me no mind. I get irritated when people are slow.
is less. Since we had zero communication from their side, we initiated that, and we
So what he's saying is, they normally ask for $120,000 if you petition to fight in another division for another belt, even though we're not fighting for the WBC. But you can negotiate with them your payment based on how much you're making. So what it really is they want to be in your business to know how much you're making so that they can get the cut of what they really want. And if you're making a certain amount, then they're willing to negotiate your cut, because either way they're gonna get 120,000 or more. Is what it sounds like to me. The point is, you're beating around the bush, brother.
put 120,000 fee on a. They've been saying he made 7 or 10 million or whatever. We had zero response. The only response was, we received it. We will
got
address
him.
this.
See what I'm saying? One thing you can't do is get it past me. Your Majesty is going to always peep it. Now, y'all probably missed it, but let's go back.
Response was, we receive it. We will have
Here we go.
1,000 fee on a. They've been saying he made 7 or 10 million or whatever. We had zero response. The only response.
We had zero response. But the next words,
They've been saying he made 7 or 10 million or whatever. We had zero response.
but
The only response was, we receive it. We will address
the only response was, which means y'all had a response. It wasn't zero response.
this later today.
Well, let me say this. Whatever the money was that he made, it's his money. He
Correct.
can do whatever he wants with it.
Absolutely.
Why do you believe? And look, this is in your rules. I'll give you that. I've read the rule that you're entitled to
Dumbass rule.
50% if a fighter is fighting for a different sanctioning body, different weight class. I've read it's in your rules. I'll agree with you there.
Or 3% if it's a special event.
Right. It also says market share too. Like the market value is what I'm keying on here. The market value. Like, why do you really believe that the WBC should be entitled to $120,000?
Great question.
That your market value for that particular fight, which was for a WBA title, a Ring Magazine
WBO.
title. Do you really believe that the WBC's belt?
WBO, Chris.
WBO, apologies. But do you really believe that the WBC's involvement, however, nominal, is worth $120,000?
It's worth $1 million or $1. It is not about the money.
It's a big difference. What's about the money to him?
Chris says market value. Do you think that $120,000 is not too much to be asking somebody for a bout that you did not sanction? He says no. It can be $1 million. It could be $1. Sir, that is market value. If I go to a seafood restaurant and crab legs are at market price, they are going to give the price based on the season, based on whether, most times when it's hot outside, crabs are more expensive because more people are buying them. When it's cooler outside or it's a weekday, 9 times out of 10, they less expensive because less people are buying. That is market. So why would you say no and then in the same breath turn around and say the same thing without WBC sound like they need a new president?
It's about the money to Shakur.
Well, he chose not to continue as WBC champion, and it was his decision. It is not about the money because it's the rule. Of course, a fighter who is recognized by the WBC as a world champion has a market value, has a validity, has a seal of having a position in the boxing world at that time.
But you put a dollar figure on it. You said $120,000. You put an actual dollar figure on it. And so someone that watched that
look
fight,
at his face.
Fans of that fight, it's hard.
He know he full of shit. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face. He know he full of shit.
For me to wrap my head around.
Look at him. The fixing of the jacket, the sit back.
Worth of value. Maybe there's some value, but $120,000 is a massive amount of money.
That is not a market value. That is a percentage based on a speculation of what he was making on the money.
Sir, that is market value. You are charging him based on what you believe he's making. So if he was making less, then you would have charged him less. If he was making more, you probably would have charged him more. What is being missed?
He had come back and said, my purse is X amount. We would modify it as we have done in many cases.
Which is market price.
So he's kind of being penalized for making a lot of money.
Exactly.
No.
Yes.
He's being requested to comply with the rules, Chris.
I get the rules, but like, are these?
But that's the rules.
Well,
Why?
but should the? Look, you bend your rules all the time. We can get
Sure,
to that. You bend
for
your rules all the
sure.
time.
Because we watched, and this is coming from a diehard Canelo fan. We watched the WBC, which Jamal Charlo was the mandatory for Triple G, right? I want to say after he either fought Hugo Centeno or Jorge Sebastian Highland or one of them, he was the mandatory for Triple G. Canelo beat Triple G in the rematch. And the WBC did not make Canelo fight him. Instead, they created a whole new belt, which I don't even want to get into how they fucked up the thought process of boxing fans creating the franchise belt, because you got on your knees, head up, chin down, mouth open, and did whatever Canelo asked y'all to do or whatever y'all felt like would be in the benefit of Canelo so that he wouldn't drop y'all belt to please him to the point where y'all made a franchise belt so that he could no longer have mandatories, so that he could move the way he wanted to move. And then when he moved up, y'all went so far as to say, as the franchise title champion, even if you move up in weight, you are still considered the champion there. Just so that Canelo, because he was making those huge paydays, could still represent you guys and not carry the shit out of y'all like he did when y'all tried to make him fight Triple G the first time and he said he was never fighting for a WBC belt. So y'all bend y'all rules all the time. Chris Mannix is absolutely right. Y'all bend them when y'all feel like it. But like I said, I believe the disdain for Crawford has trickled down to Crawford's posse and people who follow. And I'm not saying it disrespectfully because I fuck with them, but Crawford's little brothers are now going to be the ones to have to reap the bull crap based on what Crawford did. But Chris is right. Y'all pick and choose when y'all want to bend the rules and who y'all want to bend them for. And in reality, you know what I'm saying? That shit trash to me. But I'm glad that Chris is standing on business and calling them out like he's supposed to, because he fucking lying.
Tell me where we bend the rules.
I don't know. You let Jamal Charlo have his belt for over 2 years.
Forgot about that.
Like not ordering a man.
He got hurt.
You didn't. You let Canelo Alvarez was a champion at 168 for a long time. You didn't force David Benavidez fight. You didn't.
Forgot about that one.
You bend your rules a lot, Mauricio. If we're being honest here, you bend your rules a lot.
You are being judgmental.
No, he not.
Why don't you open?
No, the fuck he not. He telling the truth. How the fuck am I judging you by calling out the facts? It's not a judgment. If you eat boogers and I say you're a booger eater, I'm not making a judgment. I'm calling out a fact. Like that, nobody. See, I hate this. The victim shit, bro. The victim Olympics. I'm telling you, as soon as a motherfucker don't have a response or answer for you, they start playing victim, and I hate it, bro. He calling you out on your bull crap, and I'm a #1 Canelo fan, and I'm telling you, your meat roll for Canelo. When Canelo said, "All right, cool, I'm not fighting Triple G. I dropped the belt. I don't care. I'm not fighting. I'm never fighting for y'all belt again." They bent over, upside down, backwards, and right side up just to please Canelo. Chris Mannix is absolutely right, bro.
To the rules and listen to my explanation.
Okay.
Why do you go and accuse and just get to a conclusion?
Bro, we not accusing nobody, not accusing you of nothing. We call it out
case by case. But the fact that
this is why I can't interview these type of people, because you're not about to sit in my face and think that I'm not going to call you out on your bullshit, and you not going to pity me or try to use some fake victimhood shit to try to get me off my square so that I don't ask you the questions that I need to ask, or I don't say what is happening. Bro, come on, bro. Now you got a whole fleet of people who, because you tried to meat ride for Canelo and make him a franchise champion, now it's a trickle down effect. Now Devin Haney gotta get an email belt. Now everybody calling him an email champion. You got Teofimo Lopez, who should have been considered undisputed, who, when you look in the history books, it's not going to show that he was undisputed. All because y'all did this shit for Canelo. All because y'all got on knee pads and ball bag for Canelo, bro. He absolutely right. Y'all motherfuckers did pick and choose. Y'all pick and choose when y'all want to do this shit, man. I don't like that.
Forced a mandatory on Jamal Charlo for years.
Please,
that's a fact.
Never did.
Let me talk. I think I deserve the courtesy, if I'm in your program, to be able to talk. Jamal Charlo. Jamal was scheduled to fight, and he got injured. He was going to make his title defense. He got injured, so the fight was postponed.
It was like 4 years.
He became in a very difficult mental health problem. So he got completely out of, he was completely disturbed in his person. The WBC ordered an interim championship with Adames in order to have the division active. I met with Jermall Charlo several times, and I promised him, he told me that the only thing in life keeping him from making a stupid decision like killing himself was because he was a WBC champion.
Brother, you are blatantly incriminating yourself on live and living color. This is an example of you bending the rules when you choose to. The fact that you just said, and this is no disrespect, I understand people have mental health issues and shit like that, but the point is you bend the rules when you feel like it. And then you just came out and gave a sob story and bent the rules because you felt like it. How much stupid, how dumb can you be?
And I saw and I met him and his wife.
And that's the thing. People think they can use sensitive topics to try to make you get off of your square. Bro, people go through mental health. It's a part of life. It has nothing to do with the fact that you bent the rules. Regardless of what sympathy you felt or whatever the case may be, you still bent the rules. That's that. I cheated, but I only cheated because I was drunk. You cheated. Like, what are you talking about? My point is you cheated. In this case, Chris Mannix's point is you bent the rules when you chose to. Bro.
And I
hopefully this shit ain't got much longer because I'm tired of this nigga already.
Until he got his mental situation better. And if you're going to blame that for me and say that I break the rules, I take it.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
Fighter's life. And I took the fighter's sentiment and did not affect anyone in doing so.
Yes, it did, because Carlos. Oh my God, bro. It did affect someone because Carlos Adames had to fight
every
for
day.
An interim
People
title.
juggle so many different tools.
He had to fight for an interim title when in reality he could have been fighting for the full championship. So it did affect him. It definitely affected him. Why would I want to fight for an interim title and still somebody be above me as the champion, but I still got to pay you sanctioning fees? What do you mean it didn't affect me?
You want to talk about Canelo Alvarez?
Yes,
Benavidez,
we do.
Same thing. Canelo was to fight an interim championship. And when he fought on March of 23, I think, that was the final elimination for the mandatory position that would take place 1 year later.
Oh my God.
Before that year later that we.
So when it's Canelo, once again, bend over backwards. And I can't say what I really want to say because I would be real vulgar, but when it's Canelo, you can make Benavidez wait the full year before you name him the mandatory. But when it's Shakur Stevenson, you want to charge him when he just fought his mandatory, which means he has a full year before he has to fight another mandatory, which means he can fight voluntary defenses. I'm lost. And like I said, man,
where to enforce the fight, he moved up to light heavyweight. I can give you all the timeline of each case that you would like to discuss if you give me the opportunity, and don't judge me without knowing the facts.
I'm not, well, you just said, and if I'm hearing you correctly, that you thought Jermall Charlo might commit suicide if he had his belt taken from him. Okay, I mean, that's serious stuff. I know he was dealing with some stuff. That's certainly some serious stuff.
It's very clear.
This is what I be talking about. That little, he's going to commit suicide. Now Chris Mannix has completely shifted from the question that he wants to ask to having empathy, which I get it. I have empathy too, but it has nothing to do with the fact that you still change the rules when you please. That's all it is. And I hope Chris Mannix don't allow that to throw him off of his square and what his real question is. Because I hate this stuff, bro.
Public, he had huge problems in his personal life.
Yes, I covered it.
Support him. We opted to support him. If you're gonna crucify us for that, so be it. I'll take it.
Well, the Benavidez had an interim title for a while. There were opportunities for you to order.
Paul Benavidez put him on the line.
That they didn't get. You think he didn't want that shot?
He moved up in weight before we ordered the fight.
So you're saying you were about to order the fight? He moved up in weight because he didn't think he was ever going to get.
He's lying because he just said that he won the interim fight and had a full year when it was Canelo before they had to mandate that fight. So you telling me that Benavidez, as much as he was calling out Canelo, would have rather fought all of those tournaments to become next in line rather than fight Canelo for the full belt? You telling me he would rather fight for the interim over and over and over? Because I think he fought for the interim belt 2 or 3 times, and they still never named him the mandatory because you were going to make him wait the full year because it was Canelo. So he all over the place. He all over the place.
That fight.
That's what you think.
That's what he says. He says it over and over again. He said it publicly. He never thought he'd get the Canelo fight.
He never thought that Canelo would fight him, maybe.
Yeah, but should you have not ordered that? Like said, do it.
Because it was not time.
See?
And I'll send you all the reports that I explained.
When we were
supposed to order in March 2024 or 2024, he moved up in weight, Chris.
Well, this raises the subject, Mauricio, and I was going to get to this. This raised the subject of the interim championship.
Okay, cool.
Now,
I'm going to end this there because it looks like they about to go into the interim thing belt, and I mean maybe I'll react to that on another video as well. And who knows? I want to hear this because it's bullshit, you know. But when it's all said and done, the point is the WBC pick and choose when or when they don't want to look out. In this case, I wholeheartedly believe that this is a Bud Crawford retaliation. Once again, to me, it does not make sense. If that is the rule, that if I'm the champion and I want to go up and fight for a totally different sanctioning body, and I still got to pay y'all some money, even though y'all ain't sanctioning shit, that is a rule that needs to be fucking changed. That simple as that. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. Yeah. You normally bring your car to this body shop for you to get your car worked on, but I approve you to take it to another body shop, but I still want $700 for just because. That's the stupidest shit in the world. It's dumb as fuck. I'm not doing shit to your car, but because I approved you to go to another auto mechanic, I need $700. Dumbest shit in the world. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Also, if you have not, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I drop future videos. Also, if you have not subscribed to my social media channels, please do so. They are in front of you. And until next time.